In Manhattan, Kansas, the greatest turnaround in college football is enjoying a second successful chapter. Kansas State ranked 14th in the country, but following a 7-0 start, back-to-back losses for quarterback Collin Klein and the Wildcats. Down to the wire a week ago with Oklahoma State in Stillwater. For the Aggies of Texas A&M, high hopes dashed by second-half collapses, the latest versus OU. The last trip as a Big 12 member to Manhattan, a critical one for the Aggies' postseason hopes. The crossroads of two seasons meet today in Manhattan. Texas A&M at 14th-ranked Kansas State. The Aggies from Texas A&M College Station are up to take on 14th-ranked Kansas State today. Texas A&M could become bowl eligible with the win, and potentially Cotton Bowl on the line today. A lot to be determined as far as who goes where in the bowls, but potentially a spot in the Cotton Bowl on the line. Kansas State trying to get an 8th win for the first time since 2003 when the Wildcats won 11 games and won the Big 12 title. All the way back in 1998, these teams met in one of perhaps the greatest Big 12 title game. Bill Snyder celebrated his 72nd birthday earlier this season. We were here that weekend. He said after a while you stop celebrating these things, but he has engineered another comeback here in Kansas State for this Wildcat program. And Mike Sherman on the sideline for Texas A&M. Terrific season in 2010. The disappointment apparent in 2011. The Aggies of Texas A&M 5-4 on the season against 14th-ranked Kansas State 7-2. Texas A&M deferred, so this touchback will make it Kansas State football at the 20-yard line, meaning that the junior from Loveland, Colorado, Collin Klein, brings the Kansas State offense onto the field.
I think many times as an analyst you fight hyperbole. Well, he's the best thrower, he's the best rusher, he's the best this or that. I'm very confident when I say that Collin Klein is the toughest quarterback in college football. You will watch him today. I guarantee you his elbows will be bloody. He's going to take a number of shots. Number one in this conference in carrying the football, and that's a big target. You're talking 6'5", 225. This offense funnels through their quarterback.
And yet Collin Klein will split out as a wide receiver on the first play from scrimmage for Kansas State. Angelo Pease will take the Wildcat snap for the Wildcats. And here is Pease making his way for 5, maybe even 6 yards. Our Chick-fil-A impact players, Rob.
Here's a look at Chick-fil-A impact players. Running back John Hubert, undersized, just 5'7" and 185 pounds, but a very willing blocker and runner, really growing as a receiver out of the backfield as well. Chris Harper, he's our go-to guy outside, and he will have one-on-one coverage, has to take advantage of it. Defensively for the Aggies, well, they know how to rush the passer, in particular Sean Porter, and watch him in spy environments as well. He's going to be keeping a close eye on the quarterback.
Klein back at his typical quarterback position for the Wildcats. Throwing on second down, it is caught right at the sticks. This is a big spot coming. It looks like third down and very short for Kansas State. Jermaine Thompson makes the grab.
Let's keep a real close watch on a couple things this gorgeous afternoon. Number one, Collin Klein took a beating a week ago, a very sore right shoulder. How much will that impact the passing game today? There's also a pretty strong breeze that always flows through Kansas, and in special teams, in the passing game, I think those two elements, keep an eye on them.
Collin Klein will keep it on third down and 1 to move the sticks. And just as Kansas State does, you get to third and short, get just enough to move those chains. The team that leads the FBS in time of possession. A lot of teams, that's not an important stat anymore. It is for Bill Snyder's Wildcats.
And very different from the peers within this conference in Texas A&M today that you will watch offensively. Up-tempo, no huddle. Kansas State doing it very differently but effectively.
Hubert gets the first down handoff, diving for another 5-yard gain. Tony Hurd Jr., the sophomore safety on the stop.
And I think doubly important today when you've given up over 1,000 passing yards the last 2 weeks as Kansas State has. A brilliant start at 7-0, and you face two NFL quarterbacks in Brandon Weeden and Landry Jones. Both of them throw for over 500 yards. Bill Snyder knows he needs to keep this offense on the field and his defense on the sidelines.
The local paper, the Mercury described it, the misfortune 500.
Jesus Christ, they're going to use a lot of the corner today.
Klein on second down, flushed out. Colin Klein will take the sack. Bill Snyder said the number one thing for his offense, avoid negative yardage plays against the Aggies.
You don't see that a lot from Colin Klein this season. He has grown as a passer. He has ample protection, does a nice job of extending the play. But here, you got to throw it away. You've got to salvage those yards so you can be in a much better third down situation. The Wildcats cannot afford offensively to live in 3rd and 10, especially without that little slot receiver, Tyler Lockett. One of their explosive players won't be playing today.
Aggies 3rd in the nation in sacks. Moore and Neely combined for that one, forcing 3rd down. To the sidelines on 3rd and 10 for Harper. It is incomplete. Juggling as he went out of bounds. Chris Harper bringing up 4th down, punt unit coming on.
That was a well-thrown play. He's an impact player, Chris Harper, for a reason. I told you he's going to get one-on-one coverage. That's the style that the Aggies play. He gets it. He's unable to possess the ball. A little savvy play there from Frederick, grabbing the arm, delaying the reception point there for Harper and forcing the incompletion.
So Ryan Dorr, the junior from Katy, Texas, punting for Kansas State. He spent his freshman year at South Carolina. Dustin Harris back to receive for the Aggies. Fair catch from Harris, giving the Aggies the football around the 37. And the senior quarterback from Big Spring, Texas, Ryan Tannehill, leads the Aggie offense on the field.
The Aggie offense, it's number 6 in America. They run it, they throw it. When I think of Ryan Tannehill and I watch him on film, I think maturity. He'll be married in January. He's already graduated. Very smart fella, degree in biology. Nothing phases him. He's asked to throw it a whole lot more than his counterpart, Colin Klein.
Cyrus Gray starting at running back. Kristen Michael out for the season with a torn ACL for Texas A&M. Gray on 1st down to the 40.
Here's a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players. Running back Cyrus Gray, a running back that gets stronger with more carries. He's going to get a lot of them with Kristen Michael out for the year. Ryan Swope, their slot receiver, the fastest Aggie receiver, on pace to shatter school records. In the middle, defensively for Kansas State, Arthur Brown, sideline to sideline linebacker, can also finish at the point of attack.
Tannehill throwing on 2nd down, complete. Big hit leveled by Emmanuel Lemur as Nehemiah Hicks, the tight end, makes the grab. It will be 3rd and short for the Aggies.
Lots of shallow crosses from Texas A&M. These linebackers, these nickelbacks have got to come up and tackle. Arthur Brown is the leading tackler. Lemur, a converted safety, very willing to deliver a blow as well.
Tannehill quickly to the line for the sneak on 3rd down. And correction, that's Jameel Showers who comes in on 3rd down and short. So it's the backup redshirt freshman Showers who sneaks for a 1st down.
Mike Sherman, a disciple of Mike Holmgren. Mike Holmgren hated quarterback sneaks with his starting quarterbacks, didn't like the shots they could take. So what do? You bring in the backup quarterback, let him deal with the rugby pile.
And for 1st down, Ryan Tannehill back from the shotgun. Gray dragged down for a loss on 1st down. It's Trey Walker, the sophomore who made the game-winning goal line tackle on Miami's Ja'Cory Harris earlier this year, and one of the close game wins for Kansas State.
Walker has to love seeing the field. He's not seen a lot of it with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. A lot of nickel defense. He comes off the field, gets his job done on 1st down.
Tannehill pressured again, rolling and throwing to the sideline to make it 3rd down and 14 on the opening drive for the Aggies. Ray Kibble applies the pressure there on Tannehill.
Trying to set up a screen pass. Mike Sherman can see the downhill nature of this Kansas State defense on the first 2 runs. How do you counteract an aggressive defense? It's draws, it's screens. That time Kansas State stays at home, forces the throw away from Tannehill.
middle and incomplete, intended for Wachiku on third down. So the Aggies will punt on their opening drive.
A little bit of wind today. That ball, if you don't throw a tight spiral, you let it get away from you, well, it's going to sail high and wide. Mike Sherman said last week in the wind, Tannehill's ball placement wasn't what it needed to be on that third down. An opportunity to get a conversion. And that ball sails high and wide.
Epperson punts it away.
Look at the ball!
Thompson fair catch, and he does make the catch right around the 12. Both offenses punt. K-State back with the football in return. Kansas State seeking its 8th win of the year. To put that in perspective, what Bill Snyder means around here. Third year, they went 7-4. 5 years prior to that, a total of 8 wins over 5 seasons before that. 7-win year for Kansas State. The main consequence of that on first down. You could look at a lot of numbers about what K-State football was like before Bill Snyder. It's amazing to look at them now as we look at our Kansas State focus points.
And critical today, they have some success on first down, so they can avoid the blitzes and the pressure that A&M will throw at them in third and long situations. They've also got to control field position a little bit more difficult without their star in the special teams, Tyler Lockett, and defensively get some hits on Tannehill. I don't know how many times you're going to sack him, but get pressure, get his uniform dirty.
Only one deep safety for the Aggies on second down and 5. So Klein will roll on the option, keep it across the 20, and there is Colin Klein, the junior from Loveland, Colorado, to the 25.
Nothing terribly fancy with what Kansas State does offensively. They'll get in some different formations. They'll have new schemes every week, but the option is what they will live and die with. Colin Klein, as I mentioned earlier, 206 rushing attempts this year. 66% of the offense goes through him. That's unheard of stuff when it comes to quarterbacking, especially in this conference.
Klein averages nearly 6 yards a carry if you take away the sacks.
Look at the number of defenders all within 6 yards of the line of scrimmage.
So to the shotgun with the play clock winding down, and Klein will be dropped by Demontre Moore.
When you face an offense like this and a quarterback that runs that much, it becomes so much about a numbers game. We seem to talk about that all the time this season. You've got to get enough defenders around the line of scrimmage so you can leverage Colin Klein. So you can get a body on a body in that extra helmet. And I'll tell you what that leaves outside. That's why Chris Harper has got to make those plays on the go routes, because there will be ample one-on-one opportunities with your receivers.
Already back to the second down and 12. Clock again winding down. Klein's going to keep it again, attempt to keep it, but he is dropped behind the line. Jonathan Stewart leads away along with Tony Jared Eddy to make it third and long.
Tim DeRuyter, the defensive coordinator from Air Force, loves to disguise. Show you one look, bring another. Show one blitz, and then shoot the linebacker through the opposing A-gap. This kind of game today really affords Tim DeRuyter the schemes he wants to play. So many of these no-huddle and up-tempo teams take away the disguise element of their defense. You should expect a wholesale group of blitzes if the Aggies can get Kansas State into these third and extra long passing situations.
A potential face mask goes uncalled here in the 19. Aggies back into coverage. Klein completes to Thompson on the outside, well short of the first down. Lionel Smith makes the stop, and so Kansas State second drive goes 3 and out. Aggie defense playing strong in the early going against K-State.
They will have very little chance for success, will the Wildcats, if they're in those third and long situations, which we have seen on the opening 2 drives. Early down success, that's why it's our focus point, is going to be imperative for them this afternoon.
Door with an excellent punt. With swirling winds in the stadium down inside the 30, Kansas State finally gets to it right around the 31. Ryan Tannehill, one of the finalists for the Campbell Trophy. What is that? Why is it important? We'll tell you when we come back. Manhattan, that's Willie the Wildcat here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Carter Blackburn, Brock Hewitt, our hard-working crew from Manhattan.
Was Willie penalized pregame, or was that?
Oh, now there was a vicious hit Willie put on what I can only assume was not a real Texas A&M Aggie fan, but he took a pop from Willie. K-State has problems tackling today. They might get a lesson from Willie at the half. Ryan Tannehill and the Aggie offense back on the field. Throwing on first down, complete to the outside to Washington. Ryan Tannehill, one of the 16 finalists for the National Football Foundation's Campbell Trophy, which is known as the academic Heisman Trophy. He should be an academic All-American this year, in addition to a finalist for the Campbell Trophy.
3.63 GPA, graduate in biology. So he'll start to win those $18,000 post-grad scholarships.
Ray dropped about 2 yards short, making it 3rd and 2.
And defensively, he's staring at a guy, number 2, the safety, Tyson Hartman for Kansas State, also one of those 16 finalists for the Campbell Trophy. He has just a 3.57 GPA finals.
As well as excellent football player. Showers in for 3rd down and 2. Showers straight ahead, gets a block from his right guard, Cedric Abui. And a first down for the Aggies.
A taste of Kansas State's own medicine, something they practice against all the time. Saw the backup come in the sneak situation, 3rd and short. A little wrinkle there for Mike Sherman, bringing in a little more athletic Showers to gain the first down.
Tannehill from the shotgun. With Arthur Brown coming on the blitz. Gray runs right past him. Hartman there for the tackle on top of the Wildcat in midfield.
Right in time for our focus points for the Aggies, creating some balance with Cyrus Gray. They lost Kristen Michael for the year with a torn ACL. Gray will get a lot of carries, got to balance out that passing game. They've got to win the turnover battle. They've only created 7 takeaways defensively this season, minus 10 on the year. A large reason why they're 5-4.
Play action on 2nd down. Tannehill throwing complete. Ryan Swope, the junior from Austin Westlake High School, who credits the former wide receiver, now quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, with helping him in his development as a wideout.
The fastest wideout, faster than he is, quicker. The system does a nice job of utilizing that 10.5 100-meter speed he has.
Bunch formation on first down. Gray gets it. Gray first out inside the 35.
When you talk about balancing a passing game, that's what you're looking for. 4, 5, 6 yard chunks, so you can run that naked play action pass off of it, so you can slow down that run. So you give that defense something else to look at. And you got to have patience. Look at the game film. You've seen the 2 teams in the preceding weeks throw for over 1,000 yards. You got to stick to your own strengths. And Gray, one of the strengths of the Aggies.
Play fake. Tannehill throwing incomplete to the sideline, intended for Askew, making it 3rd down and 5 for Texas A&M.
You better be careful throwing at number 24, Nigel Malone, 3rd in America defensively with 6 interceptions. Kansas State's given up a ton of yards this year. They've also made a bunch of plays. 14 interceptions, 7th in college football from the secondary.
4 wide on 3rd down for the Aggies. Tannehill throwing incomplete off the hands of Nehemiah Hicks. If he hangs on at the 10, he's in the end zone.
Those are 2 3rd down passes. You remember the one on the previous drive that sailed just a little bit high. And that's a well-thrown ball. That ball has got to come in from your tight end out there. It's about matchups. The Aggies create a one-on-one with their big tight end. He's got to find a way to make that play.
This would equal the career long for the kicker, Randy Bullock. The wind has died down a bit, but still circling here in Manhattan. Hold is down, 50-yarder is wide, and Kansas State holds. Bullock, who had been almost automatic for the Aggies, but in windy conditions in Norman and now Manhattan, starting to miss.
Who can finish in the end? And secondly, You're not going to see 6 points to 6 points scored as we did a week ago in 1 versus 2. There's going to be a lot of touchdowns tonight at Palo Alto.
Colin Klein and the Kansas State offense back on the field. 1st and 10 from the 33. After a 50-yard miss from Texas A&M. This is Hubert. No gain.
They do it differently. They both love to run the football. Oregon with all the speed all over the place. Number running back. Stanford so physical. Fullback, tight end, power football. And in the league and in the game, and especially in this conference where we're sitting today, where teams are doing it through the air. Oklahoma State once again today lighting up the scoreboard through the air. These two do it on the ground in very different ways.
Stanford can clinch the Pac-12 North with the win. There is a championship game in the Pac-12 this year. There's no championship game in the Big 12 this year. Klein option toss. Hubert dropped. 3rd down and 10 coming for Kansas State. And only 21 yards of offense at this point for the Wildcats in what could be their last possession of the first quarter.
And Tim DeRuyter's 3-4 scheme in many ways built to handle offenses that like to run sideline to sideline in the option. And right now, Kansas State's inability to get on these linebackers and affect them and let them just chase these plays down is creating 3rd and long situations.
4 wide receivers, different look for Kansas State on 3rd and 10.
Look at the disguise, look at the blitz, look at the number of different pictures they're giving the quarterback.
Klein looking for Harper. It's incomplete, intended for Sheldon Smith, as Klein was popped by Demontre Moore, the sophomore who has gotten home, as they say, on Colin Klein a couple of times today.
And everybody around college football is sore this time of year. I doubt very much so that anyone further sore than Colin Klein. He has taken some vicious shots this season. I told you that shoulder sore coming into today. Kansas State cannot afford putting him in the shotgun in the pocket, getting hit in passing situations.
Around the 35. Kansas State recovers at the 40. And take a look at this week's BCS standings, brought to you by Discover Card. And Rock, question is, if Stanford beats Oregon, does Stanford move up to number 3, or how high does Stanford go?
Well, Mr. Brad Edwards has assured us that if they were to beat Oregon, he feels very confidently that, yes, they would get past Alabama, which I think they should, as an undefeated team and a red-hot Oregon team that, remember, was 3 fumbles away from really keeping that game competitive in the 4th quarter with LSU earlier, scored 27 points on LSU. If Stanford gets it done tonight, yes, they should move ahead of Alabama.
Ryan Tannehill, Cyrus Gray, and the Texas A&M offense from the 41. Gray on 1st down, straight ahead. Arthur Brown there on the stop. We are heading in this league, Rock, for Oklahoma State. It sets up at the end of the year. Usually they call it Bedlam. I'm calling it Armageddon this year. Tannehill's throw is a good one. What a great throw and catch. Wachiku manages to haul it in, stay in bounds at the 46.
There you see some of the athleticism from Tannehill, the former receiver, very adept at getting outside the pocket and throwing on the run.
First,
a completed catch. That ruling is under further review.
Let's take a look.
Wachiku does a nice job coming back to his quarterback as he extends the play. Is that left knee out of bounds? Does that left knee touch the white sideline as he's receiving that football?
Here's what the rulebook says on this matter. A player or an airborne player out of bounds when any part of his person touches anything other than another player, official, outside a boundary line.
That is about as close as it comes. He secures the reception. His feet are definitely in bounds. It's all going to be about the judgment with that knee. Is there indisputable visual evidence that that knee did not touch any part of that white paint as he's catching that football.
Alan Chapman there on the coverage for Kansas State. Onwuchukwu, the junior from Allen, Texas. You hear the phrase indisputable video evidence. Full rule says to reverse an on-field ruling, the replay official must be convinced beyond all doubt, meaning that they are looking, as they've told us, for a very clear picture.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
And by saying stands, that means there wasn't enough video evidence to overturn it. If the video evidence supports the call, undisputably, you will hear them say the call is confirmed. Bottom line, it's a catch. First and 10 Aggies from the Kansas State 46.
The situation now where Texas A&M is once again in Kansas State territory. Your defense has played well. You really have to capitalize on these situations in a first quarter that you have largely controlled.
Gray trying to bounce it outside. Lemur there on the stop, rolling to around a minute left in this first quarter. So Rocky, say Texas A&M controls the first quarter, but this is still a 0-0 game.
Welcome to Bill Snyder football. Welcome to coming into this stadium where he's been so good for so many years. They don't give up the big plays. They let other teams typically fall apart. They stay within reach, and that's why it's important to get ahead.
Play action on second down. Tannehill downfield. It's caught by Onwuchukwu at the 21. So with 39 seconds left in the first, best scoring opportunity for Texas A&M.
Dagger is what the West Coast system calls that play. Mike Sherman calls his language there. The 15-yard in cut, thrown on time, good rhythm. That time, both receiver and quarterback finish the play.
Tannehill keeps it on first down inside the 20. See if Texas A&M wants to run one more play before the end of the first. Arthur Brown there on the stop for K-State.
You better get ahead of Bill Snyder's teams. You better score touchdowns in this place when you get into the red zone opportunities. The record speaks for itself with Bill Snyder. When his team's ahead at halftime, 4-0 this year and through his career, important that the Aggies get 7, not 3 on this drive.
Texas A&M seeking its first win over Kansas State since the 2005 season. Last time that they will meet, presumably, never know, Big 12 opponents, with Texas A&M moving on to the SEC next year. First play of the second quarter will be second down in the red zone. First time that either team has crossed the opponent's 20. Ryan Tannehill from the shotgun. Play fake. Tannehill throwing underneath. It's tipped and incomplete, and that is Hicks again. That is 2 drops by Hicks. Both could have been touchdowns for the Aggies.
Those are plays you have to make. A run, play-action, movement team is what Mike Sherman called the identity of his offense. Typically pretty good in the red zone. When the quarterback puts the ball on the money, you've got to find a way to bring it in.
3rd and 7. Quick drop. Tannehill throws, completes near the first down marker at the 10. It's Jeff Fuller, the senior from McKinney, Texas, who holds all the career receiving records for the Aggies. And it is first down just outside the 10. So it's 1st and 10, not 1st and goal here for the Aggies. Tannehill to Cyrus Gray, who makes a nice catch at the 5. Forced out there by David Garrett, the corner.
A lot of West Coast principles, as I said. Those slants, those play-action passes, the movement, all things that Mike Sherman did for so many years with Brett Favre in Green Bay. Touchdown to check down, the philosophy of West Coast systems in the red zone.
Keep an eye on Jeff Fuller at the top of the screen. Instead, it's Cyrus Gray wrapped up in the backfield and dropped for a loss. Vi Latui leads the way.
Some conversations with people close to the A&M program asked about Cyrus Gray. He's going to handle carrying the load. They said they want to see him get his foot in the ground in North and South. Felt like a year ago it was really a strength of his. When you get down here, you can't afford to dance no matter how athletic you are. And Gray, very, very gifted.
3rd and 6 from the Kansas State 7-yard line for Texas A&M. Tannehill to the back of the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Ryan Swope makes the grab, and the Aggies are on the board at the beginning of the second quarter.
We asked Bill Snyder yesterday, how do you counteract all of that passing you've seen? He said we've got to be very careful about picking our spots with pressure. That time Kansas State goes with the blitz. That's an easy, very easy throw and catch between two veteran players in Tannehill and Swope.
9th touchdown grab of the season for Ryan Swope from Austin, Texas, from a Longhorn family. And 2 weeks prior to what could be the last meeting between Texas A&M and the University of Texas, Aggies on the board first in the last clash between Texas A&M and Kansas State. Robert Earl Keen and Lyle Lovett's alma mater, Texas A&M, on the board first against Kansas State, 7-0. Touchdown grab from Ryan Swope. Ryan Tannehill has his 21st touchdown pass of the season. He had 6 in one game against the Baylor Bears. Carter Blackburn, Brock Huard, our ESPN on ABC crew from Bill Snyder Family Stadium in Manhattan, Kansas. Bullock's kick is well short from the 28. Return to the 40-yard line, spinning out of a tackle is Tremaine Thompson to the 43. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Mike Sherman is play caller, and he guesses blitz, and he guesses right. Look at the number of Wildcats defender at the line of scrimmage. Mike Sherman moves the pocket, anticipating that call coming. And when you don't get home and you leave your nickel back in one-on-one coverage with inside leverage, I said before the break, that's too easy for Swope and Tannehill.
So the player who leads the Big 12 in rushing attempts, the quarterback for Kansas State, Colin Klein, the junior from Loveland, Colorado. 5 rushes for -4 so far. Kansas State offense is sputtering. Hubert rolling to the 50 on that carry. As we look at our Pacific Life game summary, you will see some meager offensive numbers so far for Kansas State.
Put themselves in unfavorable 3rd downs. It's been a very clean game. No turnovers, no penalties. But the yardage difference speaks for what I was saying earlier. In a game that's really been controlled by Texas A&M, you've got to take advantage of your opportunities. They did in the first red zone trip, scoring that touchdown.
Klein goes under center. Fullback Braden Wilson behind him. Option toss. Keys fumbles the football. Who's on top? Aggie football, just the 4th fumble recovery of the season for Texas A&M. Just the 8th takeaway by the Aggie defense.
And it looked at first glance that Peace, a former quarterback, wanted to throw that pass. Yeah, I think that was going to be a halfback pass with their Wildcat running back. All of the bodies that A&M is throwing around the line of scrimmage. Kansas State tries to get cute. Peace doesn't look the ball in before he goes to throw. And as you said, A&M creates just their 8th takeaway of the entire season.
Texas A&M -9 now on the season. Tannehill rolling to throw on first down. Ryan Tannehill finds his check down. That's Prelo, Hudson Prelo, the tight end, minimal gain. So now can Texas A&M take that turnover by K-State and turn it into more points? You hear it all the time from coaches, win the turnover battle, but Mike Sherman's Aggies are an example about what happens when you're on the It's Prelo again, the sophomore tight end, has the last 2 catches for the Aggies. Takes this one to the 26. Walker and Hartman on the stop.
To follow up on your point, what happens when you don't win the turnover battle? Good teams underachieve. Texas A&M is a really good team with a lot of talent. Should not be 5-4 this season. Turnovers have really been their downfall.
Play fake. Tannehill throwing to the goal line. It's caught by Jeff Fuller inside the 5.
Tannehill is a very natural thrower on the run. This is a right-hander moving to his left. That's a big-time throw. Brandon Weeden, Landry Jones, NFL guys that are going to go ahead of Tannehill in next year's draft. Neither of those guys throw nearly as well on the move as Tannehill.
Showers in at quarterback for 1st and goal. Last time in the red zone, touchdown for the Aggies.
The ruling on the field of the catch is under further review.
So while the replay official takes a look, we will step aside. The call on the field was confirmed, a catch for Jeff Fuller on this play. He controls, gets that 1 foot down. So that makes it 1st and goal for Texas A&M. Aggies touchdown on the last drive. Jamil Showers, the redshirt freshman from Killeen, Texas, still in at quarterback for the Aggies. Showers on 1st and goal, walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Texas A&M. And the Aggies, once again, a double-digit lead in the 2nd quarter.
You bring in the youngster and you say, I'm bigger, I'm stronger than you, and I'm going to run it right at that Kansas State front. They're throwing it, they're running it effectively, the kind of balance that Mike Sherman really strives for in this offense.
Of course, the Aggies 3 times this year have taken double-digit leads into the half and have blown those double-digit leads. But a 14-0 start here for Texas A&M. 14-0 Texas A&M on Kansas State. Let's check in with the studio. Talk with Bill Snyder about his thoughts on what happened at Penn State, and while saying it is absolutely tragic, sickened by it, saying, I love Joe. He's a friend. And while our thoughts and prayers are divided, certainly on much more serious things, we focus on the football game before us, Texas A&M against 14th ranked Kansas State. Kickoff fumbled by Garrett. Fields it inside for 10, dropped at the 8. So a fumble by Kansas State recovered by Texas A&M sets up the touchdown. And now on the kickoff, another bobble by Garrett. Worth pointing out here that would usually be Tyler Lockett returning kicks, has been the past few weeks. He is out this game, presumably for the season, with a lacerated kidney he sustained last week against Oklahoma State.
And all Tyler Lockett has done in his early career is number 2 in the country in kickoff return. I think that's why you saw the pooch kick earlier from A&M. They realized Lockett was not back there, and you see the miscommunication that comes from the backup.
Trailing 14-0. Shotgun quarterback Colin Klein. From the goal line, Klein pressure, flag down as Klein rolls and takes the sack at the 3. Demontre Moore gets to Klein, but there is a flag. First flag of the game.
And that's going to be a hold.
Holding. Offense, number 50. The penalties decline. 2nd down.
That's left guard Nick Pitts, a transfer from Wyoming. Kansas State trying to open the playbook up. 1st and 10. Run not effective. Pitts does what he can. His best 2-point tackle there. That's going to draw the flag every time. And A&M doing what they do well. They get after the passer. 3rd in America in sacks. And already 3 this afternoon.
And a Kansas State offense that has 16 yards of total offense backed up to the end zone. Klein finds a seam to get back to the 10, making it 3rd down and 10. But Brock, this is it's a lot of time left in this football game, but Kansas State down by 14 with no offense rolling.
Well, this is not the way they want to play. They want to play from ahead, and when you've got a beat-up quarterback that's taking shots like that, you can see how much he's laboring to get up after every one of these blows. One from Howard Matthews for the Eagles.
Third and 10. Moore shows pressure. Klein throws that way on the screen, but right at the 10, Hubert is met by Sean Porter and dropped. And the Kansas State offense is stuck in reverse.
A&M playing much faster right now defensively than Kansas State is on offense. And I can't make the point enough. It's been 3rd and 10, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 10. You're playing to the strength of a defensive group that loves to pass rush. Tim DeRuyter loves to bring those screens or those blitzes and those stunts and those movement. And Kansas State right now is just being enveloped by their 3rd and extra long situations.
Dorr hits it right at the goal line. Good kick. Harris fields up a 40, so a 60-yard punt. Exactly what Kansas State needed. 14 points for A&M. 23 yards total for Kansas State. There is a flag down on the field back at the 20. Deliberation for Reggie Smith and his crew.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 6. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
While they step off the penalty, we step aside. Gray gets the handoff on first down, and Gray rolls his way across the 40 before Lemur makes a stop.
And that's the Cyrus Gray that everyone in Texas A&M wants to see. Fox 2 run, that play call. He plants his foot, gets north and south, and uses the great speed he has to move the chains. We're close to.
Fox 2 run.
Fox 2 run, Fox 3 run, Fox 2 XY hook.
Now you
should I avoid that? Is that
you played on a team where Mike Sherman was a coach.
That's exactly right. My first year in the NFL, he was the coordinator for Mike Sherman before he went on after just 1 year. Really have a lot of success there. Is the head coach in Green Bay. The same play calls I remember from 15 years ago.
I use the word played on the team in the most liberal sense, of course, Brian. Play action on first down. It's intercepted at midfield. That's Nigel Malone with his 7th interception of the season, picking off Ryan Tannehill.
And that has been the bugaboo of Texas A&M. Now the 11th interception for Tannehill. I told you early in that first quarter, you better be careful against these Kansas State corners, and Malone in particular. 3rd in America coming into the game with 6 picks, 14 as a unit, and he is just in zone coverage, eyes into the quarterback. That's well played. You can't do it any better than Malone. Dropping in coverage, eyes in the backfield, anticipating the comeback throw, and making a play that Kansas State so desperately needed their defense to make.
Now can the Wildcats, who have only 23 yards of total offense, put points on the board with their best field position of the day. Line hands off to John Hubert, the sophomore from Waco, Texas. The pile is pushed back and forth, but it'll be 2nd down from about the 30. Hubert at 5'7". Bill Snyder said of him, he is considerably different from Daniel Thomas, the bruising back who was here last year, now with the Miami Dolphins. Colin Klein from the shotgun on 2nd down and 8. Klein, the junior who last week at Oklahoma State accounted for 4 touchdowns. Yet trouble for the K-State offense today. Appeared to be motion, but no flags, and Hubert is dropped for a loss by Charlie Thomas. Chance to look at our showboating Aflac Duck and our Aflac trivia question. 2 quarterbacks, only players in Kansas State history to have their jersey numbers retired. So we're looking for the 2 Kansas State quarterbacks.
Can I give you a hint? Can I give the audience a hint?
Sure.
Neck roll.
And no, Eric Dickerson was not a quarterback for Kansas State. 3rd and 12.
First charge, timeout, Kansas State.
Frustration from the purple-clad faithful prior to 3rd and 12. Brent Cups coverage ESPN 2 Eastern tomorrow. Here in Manhattan, Kansas, 3rd down and 12 for the Wildcats. Quarterback Colin Klein from the shotgun. Time to throw to the 20 to Harper. The Oregon transfer inside the 20 on the biggest pass play of the day for Kansas State.
And our impact player delivers in some one-on-one coverage. A&M plays a single high safety. And that's just a simple comeback. Be a little tighter in your coverage there, Lionel Smith, the senior. A little bit too much room, even for an offense not built for 3rd and 12 situations.
First time Kansas State has crossed the A&M 20. Klein, keeper, to near the 2 as we check in with Robert Flores. Brock, I can hear all those SEC fans now saying, Brock, we told you so.
That one's going to go to the wire in Boise today.
2nd down for Kansas State, just outside the 10. Huber dropped for no gain, meaning we've got 3rd down coming up from just inside the 11.
What you're finding today is Kansas State and Bill Snyder in this offensive system likes to audibilize based on the look defensively, and Tim DeRuyter loves to disguise. So it's audibilizing versus disguising. And that's why so many times they've been out of sync here in this first half. Give Tim DeRuyter some real credit. A defense built for units to huddle against him and really maximize a lot of looks they like to throw it in offense.
Klein, keeper on 3rd and 3. Sliding behind his center, B.J. Finney. Appears to be short of the 1st down. Jonathan Stewart on the stop. 4th down coming inside the 10.
And you can see the decision here between Bill Snyder. He's in constant communication with his offensive staff upstairs. Dana Dimmel, Dale Miller both share those responsibilities. No surprise. This is what this group's built for. This is why Colin Klein has 19 rushing touchdowns this year.
Wildcats excellent on 4th down this season, needing just a yard, maybe less. Klein, option, keeper, 1st and goal, Kansas State.
Go to your bread and butter in the most important situations. An option has been critical for Kansas State this year. Why they're 7-2. Not enough penetration by the Aggies up front. Allow Klein to get outside and just utilize that 6'5" frame enough to move the chains.
That the running back made the line again is under further review.
Or is it?
So important here is where's the football when his knee touches the ground. Tough to tell in those 2 looks exactly where the yard marker is and the yardage necessary. This may be our best look.
Nose of the pigskin.
And remember, that yellow line is the best we can do. And with our crew, they nail it just about every time, but it's not perfect.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
1st and goal, Kansas State. Wildcats got the football off the interception from Texas A&M. Nigel Malone's 7th interception of the year. Now Kansas State trying to put it in the end zone. They began this drive with only 23 yards of offense, and he had an opportunity to make this a one-score game again.
Kansas State showing a corner blitz from the short side of the field into the boundary up top, and Chris Harper. Let's see if they call it off as Kansas State audibilizes.
Klein, keeper on first and goal, bounces outside, wrestled down at the 2. Jonathan Stewart grabs the ankle of Colin Klein.
There's some football 101. You want to throw into blitzes, and when you can run into it with a lead blocker, as you see Hubert there cut down the blitzing cornerback. Many times this season, Klein's gotten his knees up, run through that tackle on his way to 19 rushing touchdowns this season. He's averaged 3 a game over the last 5 weeks.
Klein keeps it on second and goal. Following his blockers into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas State. Colin Klein's 20th rushing touchdown of the season.
And the bugaboo for Texas A&M all year, that turnover. Just a critical error here in the first half in a game you've been in control of. You gave Kansas State a short field, and they took advantage, doing it the way they've done it all year, on the ground with Colin Klein.
Bit of a microcosm. Texas A&M turning it over, opponent scoring a touchdown, and Kansas State, despite being statistically dominated, is now only down by 7 with 3:45 to go before the half. There is a flag on the field.
I told you the elbows would be bloodied. The bandages will be on display. No one plays that position in college football and takes more of a beating.
Offside. Defense. Number 22. The penalties decline. Extra point is good.
Time to answer our Aflac trivia question. Aflac! Which 2 quarterbacks the only players in Kansas State history to have their jersey number retired? Brock, you gave the hint of.
The neck roll. Think Super Bowl neck roll. There's not many that have worn them like Steve Grogan did.
Steve Grogan and Lynn Dickey, and had a great visit with the winningest coach in Texas A&M football history, R.C. Slocum, who began his coaching career here at Kansas State in Manhattan, Kansas. Lynn Dickey was the freshman quarterback. Maybe you need a cup of coffee, Coach Slocum. Lynn Dickey was the quarterback on the freshman team for R.C. Slocum when Steve Grogan was the quarterback on the varsity squad for Kansas State when R.C. Slocum began his coaching career. That's a pretty good quarterback duo between freshman team and varsity team.
Neck roll quarterback Grogan, I think, would appreciate the way Colin Klein plays the game.
That's a touchback. Texas A&M will take it from the 20. So there's another flag now. This one on the kickoff and right around the 15.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, receiving team, number 81, at the distance of the goal, first down.
Now you're sensing the frustration of the Texas A&M faithful this season. Oklahoma State, Arkansas. Games earlier this year where they were in control of, really dominated, much like they did the first 15 minutes here, and then self-inflicted errors come back to bite them. The turnovers, the penalties, as you see Colin Klein. That's just is not thrown. That's not going to be, trust me, of all the licks he's taken, that's not going to be a big deal.
And he has taken a few. Penalty, by the way, on Nehemiah Hicks, Texas A&M, who has the 2 drops on what could have been touchdowns, and now a personal foul. Back at Tannehill and the Aggies up to the 10. Straight ahead, Cyrus Gray breaks right through the K-State defense all the way to the 33. A 23-yard rush for the senior from DeSoto, Texas.
Nice job. Little power scheme. You block down. Look at North and South. There is no wiggle. There's no dancing. That's a senior running back getting the message. With Kristen Michael Oxford here. This job is mine. When it was last year, he caught fire at the end of the season. See if he can do the same over the final 3 weeks.
Screen on the outside, Ryan Swope.
That was a really big play because you started to sense the 50,000 here, didn't you? Start to come back in this game. A&M had quieted this crowd. Had the penalty, was backed up. A really big run for Mike Sherman's Texas A&M Aggies.
Martina in at running back next to Tannehill. And with Kristen Michael out for the season, torn ACL. Making it 3rd down and 7 for the Aggies. ABC Tuesdays, you want laughs? Come early, 8/7 Central for an all-new Last Man Standing nominated People's Choice Award for Best New Comedy. Tim Allen, Last Man Standing, Tuesday, 8/7 Central on ABC. You missed out on the People's Choice Award for Best Comedy this year, bro. Third and 7. Ryan Tannehill down the middle, batted it incomplete. Emmanuel Lemur, the strong side linebacker, knocks it away from Jeff Fuller. Kansas State forces a punt.
Number of in-cuts into the second level, thrown behind Fuller.
Aggies rush the punt unit onto the field. Fair catch called for. Ty Zimmerman makes that grab at the 30. So, Kansas State football, 2:35, and see those yellow notches below the team names, school names. Those are timeouts. So, a Wildcat offense, when they move the football, capable of using that last 2:35 easily.
And that will be the plan going into halftime. You've regained the momentum in this game. A week ago, Kansas State went up and down the field in Stillwater, was very effective in these situations. No panic with 2 timeouts left.
Touchdown drive on a short field last time. Cotton Klein and Kansas State had the football. Senior QB throwing on first and slipping out of the tackle and rolling down the sideline. Hubert lowers the shoulder and gets a few more to move the chains for K-State.
He plays a whole lot bigger than 5'7" and 185 pounds. We've seen him up leading on those linebackers. You said earlier, Bill Snyder commented he's a little bit different than Daniel Thomas a year ago. Well, he doesn't think so. He's going to use that frame to run through defenders. And I'm glad this was stopped. I think I saw Hubert step out of bounds.
It's under further review.
The replay guys right next to us in the booth saw the same thing. Right there, clearly out of bounds. Looks like the 36.5-yard line.
Still a great play by Hubert, the sophomore from Waco Midway High School, who as a senior at Waco Midway broke Waco ISD's single-season rushing record, which was previously held by LaDainian Tomlinson.
Really talked about earlier the A&M turnover being a microcosm of their season. In many ways, John Hubert reflects so much about Bill Snyder's programs. 5'7", 185 pounds. Is he highly recruited? Is he wanted by everybody? No, he's not. But Bill Snyder and his staff do such a wonderful job of A, developing their talent, and then B, putting their players in a position for success. Colin Klein could not play in Landry Jones' system. He's not going to throw it 50 times a game. You're going to play to his gifts, his toughness, his size, his strength. That's why Bill Snyder has had so much success here through the years, develops his players, and then puts them in the best position to maximize their talent.
Coming up at halftime, Capital One halftime report with Scott Van Pelt and Jesse Palmer. Full report from Nebraska, Penn State, plus Boise State TCU update coming up.
After further review, the ball carrier stepped out of bounds at the 37-yard line. It'll be Kansas State's ball, 2nd and 3. Please reset the game clock to 2:29.
as we clearly saw. Keep in mind when you see some of those reviews go longer, they have to think about the clock, they have to think about the spot, they have to think about the downs. There's a lot of factors involved. Sometimes lengthen those reviews longer than they seemingly should be. So bottom line, second down, K-State from the 37.
Single coverage, single safety.
Klein fighting through the Aggie defense to near the 40, close to the first down. And it will be first down. Chains move. Stansbury on the stop there on Klein. 2 minutes to go in the half. Kansas State used an interception to get in the end zone to make this a one-score game after Mike Sherman's Aggies had a 14-0 lead. Blitz coming. Klein heaves it on second down. Caught near the 35. It's Tremaine Thompson. Kansas State picks up the blitz, beats the blitz.
That's exactly right. And great block inside by John Hubert, allowing Colin Klein to have the time to throw this corner route late down the field. You see the two defenders underneath that coverage. Is it pretty? Is it a little bit? Is it pretty? No. Is it a little bit unorthodox? Yes, it is. That's Colin Klein's game. Just get it done.
7 for 9 passing now for Klein. Spinning away from the tackler Moore. Heaving downfield. Caught inside the 10. Inside the 5. Colin Klein nearly takes the sack. Flings it downfield for Travis Tannehill.
Did I just say, is it pretty? No. Is it unorthodox? Yes, that's exactly the way that Colin Klein likes to play the game.
33-yard pickup. Klein to Tannehill.
A free blitzer coming off the backside. That has got to be a sack for Texas A&M. Instead, Colin Klein extends the play, keeps his eyes downfield, and once again, gets the ball over the top of the underneath coverage.
First and goal, Kansas State. Klein, keeper, bounces outside. Colin Klein into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas State. A PAT away from tying. Both touchdowns scored on runs by Colin Klein.
And that breaks the school record coming into rushing touchdowns this afternoon. It's been in place for 42 years. From Mac Heron back in 1969 was 20. To put 2 more on the ledger for Colin Klein. Clearly a touchdown now, 21 of them on the season.
Injured Aggie on the play. That is Sean Porter, a terrific junior outside linebacker who is down near the goal line for Texas A&M. He of the 8.5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss this year.
What did Bill Snyder say to us yesterday about his team? I asked him about the identity. He said, well, we've proven one thing, to be inconsistent. We've seen that here in the first half. He said, we've also proven we've got a lot of fight in us. Other than the Oklahoma second half here at home, Oklahoma State a week ago, they fall behind. They've fallen behind on the road this year. But this is a very resilient crew, and I will tell you, when your quarterback is as tough as Klein is, typically the rest of the players follow.
Cantelli for the PAT. Kansas State trailed 14-0. Even now at 14. 40 seconds before the half. Not a bigger compliment from Bill Snyder than what he said about his junior quarterback, Colin Klein. I'm proud of him. The way that he has developed as a passer, as a leader on this football team. And no one tougher at that quarterback position than that young man from Colorado. Pair of rushing touchdowns. Kansas State has come back from a 14-0 deficit. Score tie now. Touchback, Aggie football at the 20-yard line with 40 seconds left. Texas A&M does have 3 timeouts. So they're going to have to score quicker than that. The second of those touchdowns, short field off the fumble from Kansas State. where the Aggies took advantage of just their 8th takeaway of the season.
Decision time here with a veteran quarterback and 3 timeouts. Mike Sherman's going to make the decision to get into halftime. Not take any more risks. Take a knee, get that ball in the second half, and find a way to win. And I'll tell you, you're even. And it's a good thing you're even, because when Bill Snyder and Kansas State's been ahead, and Mike Sherman knows this, they've won 97% of the games since 1990. 4-0 this season. They go into halftime tied in a game I think we expected to be very, very close, very tight, and it's going to be a battle into the 4th quarter.
3rd quarter has been a problem area for both of these teams, most notably for Texas A&M. But after 2 quarters in Manhattan, Kansas, 14th ranked Kansas State coming back from a 2-touchdown deficit to even it 14-all. We'll send you now to the studio. Scott Van Pelt at Capital One halftime report.